In the quiet corners of the internet, where content is easy to forget and even easier to lose yourself in, a strange and unsettling figure quietly emerged, a presence that became more ghostly with time. At first, no one knew what to make of Smartschoolboy9. It wasn't an account that loudly announced itself. It didn't have viral moments or millions of followers. Instead, it lingered like a shadow, slipping through the cracks of digital spaces, gaining attention only by the discomfort it caused. But behind the facade of an innocent, almost childlike persona, something much darker was taking shape. The story of Smartschoolboy9 is a modern horror tale, one that raises questions about trust, manipulation, and the dangers lurking in the hidden corners of the web. It started with an unassuming profile picture, a child's face, or at least something resembling one. The boy in the picture had unnaturally smooth, pale skin, with bright, wide eyes and lips painted in a shade of red that was unsettlingly bold for someone so young. His features were striking, but not in a natural way. There was something eerie about the image, something that tugged at the edges of familiarity but left you uncomfortable when you looked too long. The face didn't look like a real child, but it didn't quite look like a doll either. It existed somewhere in the middle, an unervingly artificial creation that, if you looked at it for too long, would send a chill down your spine. The post started out innocently enough, blurred images of nondescript landscapes, abstract videos that looped in strange ways, and captions that seemed cryptic but benign at first. Simple lines like, "The shadows follow me," and "They whisper, but I'm not afraid," caught the eye. They seemed childlike at first, strange musings from a lonely, confused kid. But there was something about the tone of the words, a weight behind them, that felt more intentional than random. The account didn't seem designed to grab attention in the way viral accounts often do. There was no eye-catching clickbait, no trendy hashtags. Instead, it quietly gathered followers, most of whom didn't think too much about it. That is, until the unease began to grow. Something about the account didn't sit right. It wasn't just the eerie, childlike imagery. There was a subtle tone in the way Smartschoolboy9 communicated, something polished, too sophisticated for a child. It was the kind of voice that made you feel like you were being watched by someone who knew a little too much about human nature. And as people started to dig deeper, they began to realize that this wasn't some naive kid posting weird stuff for attention. It wasn't even an eccentric artist exploring the limits of digital media. It was something darker. As people began to investigate, they uncovered the truth that sent a chill down their spines. The account was the creation of a man named David Alter, a middle-aged man living in the United Kingdom. Alter, in his late 50s, didn't fit the profile of someone you'd expect to be behind something like this. He had no criminal record, no history of suspicious behavior, and no apparent reason to create a digital child. The discovery of his identity came not through any direct admission, but through the careful, often obsessive work of internet sleuths who pieced together small, seemingly inconsequential details scattered across the account's posts. Initially, the investigation into the account was little more than speculation. But as followers dug deeper into the images and captions, they began to notice subtle inconsistencies, repeated phrases, certain locations in the background of photos, and metadata embedded in the AI-generated images that traced back to Alter's name. Some savvy users even noticed that a few of the photos shared on the account appeared in different places online, linked to Alter's personal profile, which further raised suspicions. After more research, it became clear that the username behind Smartschoolboy9 was tied to a man living in a quiet neighborhood in the UK. The revelation that Alter was behind this haunting persona only deepened the mystery. How had a man with no criminal background and seemingly no dark inclinations created such a disturbing online presence? What had driven him to craft a digital child, so unnerving in its artificiality and yet so human in its eerie portrayal? The answers, it seemed, were nowhere to be found. Yet, Alter had spent years crafting the persona of Smartschoolboy9, using advanced digital tools to create an image that felt disturbingly lifelike yet entirely artificial. The boy's face, which had seemed like something plucked from a nightmare, was, in reality, generated image, a piece of technology that was advanced enough to evoke empathy while remaining just enough out of place to unsettle. Smartschoolboy9, who was initially presented as a lonely, innocent child, quickly gained a cult following, despite, or perhaps because of his unnerving appearance. Alter's choice to make the persona appear childlike, with smooth, flawless skin and wide, unblinking eyes, served to draw in viewers, offering an unsettling combination of innocence and danger. The image was not simply static. It evolved over time, with subtle changes that made the figure seem more real, yet equally strange, like a digital puppet whose movements and expressions were always just slightly off. The account's posts reflected this eerie feeling, as the boy appeared in strange, almost abstract settings, often with captions that hinted at his own fear or confusion, lines like, "I can feel them," or, "They're always watching." These cryptic phrases were paired with images that seemed to twist the concept of childhood into something darker, leaving followers unsure whether they were witnessing an art project, an experiment, or something more sinister. As time went on, the account shifted from eerie curiosity to something more unsettling, attracting a growing number of followers with an interest not just in the image, but in the mysterious intentions behind it. What began as a strange experiment in generated art turned into a viral, haunting presence on Instagram, drawing in an audience that both loved and feared what it saw. The unnerving, artificial face was crafted using technology that straddled the line between something that felt real and yet was undeniably wrong, a tool designed to make viewers feel both empathy and discomfort in equal measure. At first glance, Alter's creation seemed like an experiment in digital art or a dark commentary on the nature of online identity. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that the figure of Smartschoolboy9 was not an innocent creation. The more people dug, the more it became apparent that this wasn't just a digital persona, it was a carefully crafted vehicle for something far darker. But why? Why create such a persona, and more importantly, why did it evolve in such a disturbing way? As time passed, the tone of Smartschoolboy9's posts began to shift. What had started as vague, mysterious musings took on a darker edge. The once innocent landscapes in the photos turned twisted, blurry, shadowy images of abandoned places or distorted figures lurking just out of view. The captions became more unnerving, the words more cryptic. "I can feel them watching," one post read. "They never stop," another said. The videos, which had once been strange but harmless, took on a sinister quality. The loops became distorted, eerie sounds replacing the simple background noises from earlier posts. And it wasn't just the content that changed, it was the audience it started to attract. As the posts grew darker, so did the comments. On the surface, many followers seemed harmless, expressing their confusion or curiosity. But beneath the surface, some users began to speak in codes, exchanging comments that seemed too familiar, as if they were all part of some secret conversation. The account's growing influence didn't just draw in curious onlookers. It began attracting a crowd with more disturbing interests. Some were fascinated, others were more interested in the account's unsettling tone and mysterious aura. But among the followers were whispers, unsettling conversations that felt more like recruitment than casual interaction. The account, which had started as an eerie curiosity, now felt like a magnet for something far more terrifying. And then, as quickly as it had arrived, Smartschoolboy9 began to disappear. Posts vanished from the account's feed, captions were deleted, and the eerie content that had once filled the profile slowly faded. It was as if someone had scrubbed the account from existence. Alter's creation was erased almost completely from the digital world. But why? Why go to all the trouble to build such an unsettling online presence only to pull the plug so suddenly? The disappearance of Smartschoolboy9 left many wondering if they had imagined it all, or worse, if it had all been a trap to lure people in. The entire thing seemed like a carefully executed illusion, a digital creation that had disappeared just as it had started to take on a life of its own. What made the disappearance even more unsettling was the lack of any clear explanation. The account was gone, leaving only a sense of eerie emptiness behind. Had it all been part of some social experiment, a dark art project, or something more sinister? No one could say for sure. But one thing was clear: the void left behind only amplified the mystery. The truth about David Alter's motivations remained shrouded in mystery. On the surface, he was an ordinary man, a quiet figure living in the UK. There were no signs of criminal activity in his past, no history of predatory behavior, and no outward indications that he would be capable of such a troubling project. Yet, the creation of Smartschoolboy9 raised uncomfortable questions about the nature of online personas and the potential dangers of digital deception. Why create a childlike figure? Why take such pains to craft an image that was both realistic and unnerving? Why use technology to manipulate emotions, drawing people in with an image that seemed to call out for attention and protection, yet felt fundamentally wrong? In the digital age, the line between art and manipulation is often blurred. And while Alter's work could have been an experiment in identity and technology, the fact that it evolved into something far darker suggests that there was something more at play here, a twisted exploration of human instincts, perhaps, or a deliberate attempt to provoke fear and unease. The Smartschoolboy9 mystery isn't just about one strange online account. It's about the larger issue of digital manipulation and the ways in which technology can be weaponized for harmful purposes. Alter's use of imagery to craft a somewhat convincing and unnatural persona demonstrates how easily the boundaries between what's real and what's fabricated can be blurred. And this is a problem that extends far beyond a single account. In a world where anyone can create a believable online presence with the right tools, the potential for misuse is enormous. Smartschoolboy9 shows how someone can manipulate human empathy and curiosity, using digital content to draw people in and exploit their emotional responses. It raises uncomfortable questions about the ethics of online identity and the responsibility of both creators and platforms to ensure that their work doesn't cross a line into manipulation or harm. The story of Smartschoolboy9 also highlights the role that social media platforms play in amplifying certain content. In Alter's case, the algorithms that drive engagement likely helped propel Smartschoolboy9 to a larger audience than it would have reached on its own. While the account didn't have millions of followers, its unsettling content was precisely the kind of thing that algorithms are designed to push to the top: cryptic, mysterious, and emotionally charged. The system that promotes such content becomes part of the problem, amplifying accounts like Smartschoolboy9, even if they're harmful. What makes the story of Smartschoolboy9 so chilling is not just the account itself, but the implications behind it. If an individual can create a fabricated persona so convincingly that it manipulates others' emotions and captures their attention, what does that say about trust in the digital world? What happens when the lines between the real and the fake become so blurry that we can't tell the difference anymore? Smartschoolboy9 may have disappeared from the internet, but the story is far from over. Its legacy lives on as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of how digital tools, when used irresponsibly, can create far more than just unsettling content. They can be used to manipulate, deceive, and control. As technology continues to advance, it's important that we remain aware of the potential dangers that lurk in the shadows of the digital world. It's a safe bet that there will be more like it. Whether we'll recognize them when they appear, or even notice the warning signs, remains to be seen. And that uncertainty, that nagging feeling of something being off, may be the scariest thing of all. As the digital footprint of Smartschoolboy9 fades into the shadows of the internet, the chilling uncertainty surrounding his identity and disappearance only deepens. Despite countless theories and attempts to decode his messages, his true intentions remain elusive. Some believe he was a victim of a sinister online game, while others argue he was a dark web entity manipulating his audience for a more malevolent purpose, sparking speculation among those who refuse to let the mystery die. Was Smartschoolboy9 merely a product of the internet's deepest corners, Or was he something, or someone, more? As the investigation grows colder, the haunting question remains. Did he ever truly disappear, or is he still out there, watching, waiting, and pulling the strings from the shadows? If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. Also, if you have some thoughts on Smartschoolboy9, then feel free to leave a comment. This has been the Phantom Files, and until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and always question what is lurking in the shadows.